Living in big cities, we have completely forgotten what it is like to be far away from the civilization and technological advance. Along with the outdoor Kazakhstan expedition, you will visit the wilds of primordial world and learn how to survive using minimum equipment. The nature of our country is rich and diverse. For centuries, mountains, steppes, deserts and forests have been support for the ones who love and understand their motherland. They have been giving people food, shelter and hiding place from enemies. But they also have been ruthless against those unable to adapt for living in harsh conditions of wild nature. Constantly operating outdoor Kazakhstan tele-expedition, you will visit the most remote corners of our country and learn how to survive life or death outdoor situations. Constantly operating outdoor Kazakhstan tele-expedition continues to keep track of their cameraman's adventures in the Altai taiga. In previous episode, we parted company with Maxim on an unmanned plateau between the Stanovoi and Tigiretsky ridges. During 10 days, he ate only the nature of food that he could find in taiga. The nature of the Stanovoi ridge is lush and boon. Mountain taiga forests covering the Altai mountain slopes are called Niello taiga. Siberian cedar pine, larch, silver fir, birch, mountain ash, aspen, a lot of bushes and thousands of grass types grow here. Thickets of juniper, silverweed and meadowsweet also grow here. The Altai mountain peaks are called albumens because they are covered by snow all the year round. Some peaks are 3,000 meters high. Alpine meadows with dwarf Arctic birch bushes lie on 2,000 meters elevation, and higher we can see alpine tundra belt. Thousands of springs rise here. They flow together and feed two great Siberian rivers, Ob and Irtysh. The second stage of the outdoor Kazakhstan expedition starts today. Now it is the hunting season, so our cameraman is going to survive by hunting and fishing for the next 10 days. First of all, he must reconnoiter the territory. Maxim sets out the camera traps to find out which animals inhabit these environs. Every spring and fall, thousands of wild animals migrate from Altai Republic to Kazakhstan. Wolves, bears and wolverines follow the ungulates that are roe deer, marals, moose. The ungulates gain weight on the juicy pastures of West Altai in summer and come together in groups and migrate to the Gorny Altai in fall. After setting out the camera traps, Maxim goes fishing. There are 8 types of fish in the middle stream of the Chornaya Uba River: taimen, perch, pike, lenok, burbot, grayling, minnow and gudgeon. Taimen has been included into the Red Book. Fishing for it is prohibited. No one fishes gudgeon and minnow as they are small and have no nutrition value. But the rest of the fish are quite esculent. As the water level is low, Maxim thinks fish would come up here. The very first fishing experiment showed that no fish except grayling come up to the headwaters. They might come up here in the beginning of summer when the water level is high, but now it has decreased by almost 2 meters. We see what the spring water level was by looking at the riverbeds. The river valleys are overgrown with lowland forest, with dense shrubby underbush. In some areas, the river flows through tight canyons formed by steep taiga slopes. Fans of extreme rafting come here in June and July. The impetuous waters of Chornaya and Belaya Uba are sometimes very dangerous, and only experienced sportsmen dare to raft across rapids. Sport fishing attracts people from all over Kazakhstan and even from abroad, but only few of them go to the headwaters. To fish in outfalls of spring falling into the Uba is better. There are many insects, worms and other food in their impetuous waters. The best way to fish for grayling is to use artificial flies, but some fishers also use fishing lures. The locals make artificial flies themselves. They reel colorful threads and rooster feathers to the fish hook. Maxim uses artificial flies of various color and size and comes to a conclusion that the grayling seems to prefer the yellow one. To fish for grayling, one needs to move along the bank and cast the fishing rod with the bait into pits, pools and whirlpools behind big rocks. In order not to expend energies to fight with the stream, the fish usually hide behind rock and other covers and catch the passing food. The fisher should throw the bait into a pit, and if the fish do not bite, move to the next pit. It seems like the grayling feed according to a schedule. Bite times are 5 a.m. and early morning. Our cameraman puts the camera onto the tripod and tries to capture the moment of catching, but it turns out to be pretty hard. Because of limited battery capacity, he cannot turn the camera on for a long time, and the fish bites quite rarely. Lucky Maxim, the moment of grayling biting has been captured, and now he has to return to the camp to prepare supper. Today's food program is complete. Only small graylings bite, like this, about 300–400 grams, but they're very tasty. Maxim plans to hunt the hazel grouse. The hazel grouse is an exotic bird for the Kazakhstan southerners, but is a common type for the Siberians. There are quite a lot of hazel grouses in West Kazakhstan region, but their number varies year in year out, depending on the weather conditions. The hazel grouse's nearest relative would be these other grouse species, wood grouse and black grouse, but it is the smallest member of the grouse family, and that is why it is considered to be the tastiest one. It is not hard to recognize the hazel grouse in the forest. It got its name because it is piebald colored, and thanks to that, it artfully hides among motley leaves and shriveled grass. Some males weigh about 500 grams, females and young birds 300–400 grams. At sunrise and sunset, the taiga fills with a whistle. The hazel grouses call over the morning and evening roll. It seems like the hazel grouses are happy to see the first sunbeams, but this is just a form of territorial behavior. Every morning singer lets the world know that he is the sole and absolute master of his individual area. Usually the hazel grouses feed on land, but if someone or something frightens them away, they fly up to the nearest tree and try to hide in the branches. Maxim carefully moves towards the whistle. It is not easy to notice the bird in the thick forest. Our cameraman has to hunt the bird and also catch the process on camera. He puts the camera onto the tripod and tries to come closer to the hazel grouse, but the cautious bird flies up and hides in the thickets 50 meters away. It is hard to make it out, but through the branches, Maxim finally noticed black and red stripes, small head with a crest, and a white stripe on the throat. A splendid hazel grouse. Now I'm going to taste it. I left this stew pan in the camp, and to cook this hazel grouse I have to return there, but it is rather far. That is why I am going to cook it over the campfire. I started to prepare for this experiment long ago. In my childhood, I have read all the books of Jack London and Fenimore Cooper. When I grew up, all I had to do was to watch the Revenant movie in order to complete my theoretical education. Well, the bourgeois knew something about the food. The hazel grouse is really tasty. I roasted it over the coals about 30 minutes. Actually, this is a true restaurant. I eat a restaurant dish, and an orchestra plays for me. The birds are warbling, the bumblebees are buzzing, and the river is singing its song. Do you know what it is singing about? For those who do not understand the river's language, I will translate. The river sings that all the rivers flow into a sea, and the sea does not overflow, and they flow back to their source and flow again. And this will continue until the end of time. The river sang this song to those who lived before us, and will sing it to our children and grandchildren. By the way, right now the river warns me that its song is the most valuable heritage we can leave for the future generations. The taiga tea differs from the one that we drink in the city. Experienced taiga dwellers infuse the Virginia leaves. In Altai, it is called chagir. Fleshy rhizomes of the Virginia are rich in starch, so they may be eaten instead of potatoes. In folk medicine, it is used as a hemostatic and repairing remedy, as well as to cure hyperhidrosis and acne. The marrow root, or Rapanticum carthamodis, was not hard to find. 2-meter-high stems of this plant, with fruits resembling the thistle, can be seen in the distance. They grow right near the tent our cameraman lives in. These are the marrow roots. They're neurotonic and may be infused with tea. The legends say that the marrow root was used by the warriors of Genghis Khan, and they owe their fighting spirits and stamina to the magical power of this natural tranquilizer. The Mongol herbalists called the Rapanticum carthamodis the strong root and believed it could help to live to be 100. In taiga, even the air and the essential fumes of the cedar needles have healing properties. City dwellers tired of civilization start to feel revived and full of energy on the second or third day here. If one would eat cholesterol-free food and drink herbal energy tea, the effect will be faster. The stems of the sweet wedge resemble peas, and its rhizomes are called red or bare root. This is the sweet wedge. Now I'm going to try to dig it out. Hunters noticed that bears eat the healing roots of the sweet wedge in spring to recover after long hibernation. Professional hunters drink sweet wedge decoction as a remedy from exhaustion and rehabilitation after a disease. There is an Altai legend saying that a group of fugitive peasants had been roaming about the taiga for many months in search of Belovodye dreamland. After straining themselves to the utmost, they got down on the ground and prepared to inevitable death. But suddenly, they saw a bear digging out some reddish root. The people tasted this root, felt revived, and went further. As we have seen, it is not that hard to survive in the autumn taiga. Our cameraman lost weight, but it is good for him. This survival experiment is just a test drive before forthcoming challenges that are going to be even more serious.